Greetings fellow Whovians and welcome to Timey Wimey Review. With the kids going back to school this week in the UK following their summer break, I thought it would be fitting to review the Sarah Jane Adventure episodes Revenge of the Slitheen, originally broadcast nearly 14 years ago on BBC One on the 24th of September 2007. But first, this video is in tribute to the actor Tony Selby, who sadly passed away earlier this week. To many Whovians, he would be best known as the lovable rogue Sabalon Glitz, but he was a fantastic character actor who will be sorely missed. Rest in peace. Following the events of Invasion of the Bane, Sarah Jane's adopted son Luke and his friend who lives across the road, Maria, are starting a brand new term at a brand new school, but things are not quite what they seem. There's a new technology block built at the school with part of the floor plan missing. The school is smelling a bit weird. The school dinners are off or rotten. Oh, and the teachers are Slitheen in disguise. Let's start this review by talking about the aliens themselves, the Slitheen. Now, I know quite a few Whovians don't quite like this alien race, but I thought for the Series 1 opener, or the proper series for Sarah Jane Adventures, I thought they were a good aliens to have and just bridge that gap between the world building that we're doing here and the world building that we already have done in modern Doctor Who. So again, I quite like the aliens here. I thought the costumes look fantastic. They look just as good, if not better, than when we saw them in season 1 of modern Doctor Who in Aliens of London. And I thought that they calmed down on the fart jokes a little bit. I think they've probably learnt their lessons from Aliens of London and World War III. However, I thought the Slitheen looked quite menacing in this two-part adventure, especially throughout part 1 where we had the slow reveal of the aliens, especially towards the end of the part. That cliffhanger was really good with Sarah Jane and the children all in danger, and that nice little surprise at the end of the cliffhanger of part 1. And I didn't mind their human counterparts either. Again, it is a kids' show, so they are supposed to be a bit over the top and a little bit goofy at times, and that was serviced quite well with the head teacher and one of the teachers. But to keep the menace strong, I thought it was really good with Janine when Sarah Jane was in danger, when she was doing her own separate investigations. They kind of had that nice little two-level threat with the Slitheens at the school and with Janine being attacked with Sarah Jane. And Sarah Jane, again, pulling off great performances and showing just how scary or conveying how scary the Slitheen can be. And speaking about Sarah Jane Smith, Elizabeth Sladen pulls out another effortless performance here. Given any situation, you just know that Elizabeth Sladen pulls out something out of the hat, whether she is interacting with aliens and looking quite frightened, to bringing out the strength of Sarah Jane Smith, to being the motherly figure to Luke and Maria and Clyde. Just all out great rounded performance, and just she really has honed in the character of Sarah Jane Smith. I think especially throughout season 1 you see Sarah Jane learning and growing. She still kind of acts a bit like the Doctor, sort of like what would the Doctor do in this scenario, being a little bit more cagey towards Maria's father and with Clyde when she first introduces herself to him, and towards the end of episode 2 with the big sort of defeat of the Slitheen, it just very much harked like the Fifth Doctor when he said there should have been another way. If Sarah Jane is the glue, then Maria, Luke and Clyde is the driving force for the show, and they have to be, really. And I thought this dynamic works really well. Luke gave a great performance. I like that he was quite different and very otherworldly, and he should be, really, because he's not quite so many days old, even though he's acting like a sort of a young teenager, but making all the social mistakes. Maria obviously trying to adjust to a new life after her mum and dad has recently separated. And then we have the introduction to Clive Langer, who is pretty much the class clown who thinks he's cool and he's really not. He's pretty much the replacement to Kelsey. It was a shame that Kelsey didn't come back for whatever reason. reason. I think they could have name dropped her in this two-part adventure just to see what happened. But I do like the introduction of Clyde. I think that works better given sort of what else that they're going to do throughout Sarah Jane Adventures, especially between him and Luke becoming friends and him sort of bouncing off each other. I think that would have worked better than rather having two girls and one guy. Daniel Anthony, who played Clyde Langer in the Sarah Jane Adventures, made a really good first impression in this two-part adventure. And again, this dynamic's just going to work really well. Solid performances from all three of these young teenagers. This is a good double-layered story because on the surface you've got this alien invasion of your school, which is kind of everyone's kid's dream or nightmare really. We've all kind of imagined what if our teachers were aliens. We've all been there, guys and girls. And also underneath the surface you've kind of got some of the social issues that Luke is trying to deal with. Everyone has that social anxiety of the first day at school. I know I certainly had that when I had my first day at senior school. And Sarah Jane just trying to act like a mum now. She's an adopted mum and she doesn't know what they're doing as most parents they just kind of, you know, wing it and hope for the best. So to sort of bring all those little elements into essentially a children's show, it's just a bit of nice sort of show and tell and learning, especially again with Maria dealing with divorce and separation, which most kids sadly have to go through. It's just good to see that on TV, presented well, and just gives food for thought for children in similar situations. I'm going to give Revenge of the Slitheen a TARDIS rating of 7 out of 10. It does what it says on the tin. It's a fun alien invasion adventure and just sets the bar to a good standard quality, which can only go up and up throughout the season 1 of Sarah Jane and throughout the rest of the Sarah Jane Adventure episodes. I thought the Slitheen were the right choice to open up season 1 proper. I love the costumes and the production values of this show as well, especially with it being a kids show. You think they could have done things on the cheap and make things look a little bit tacky and a little bit naff, but to be honest, it's still the same quality as you would have expected from a Doctor Who adventure. So I'm glad that they kind of took that side of it seriously, even though again it's a kids show. I like the little moments of bridging the gap between the Sarah Jane Adventures and Doctor Who, with Sarah Jane Smith saying aliens in Downing Street. Very similar, if not the same line that what Rose Tyler gave to Sarah when they met up in school reunion. So those little nods and throwbacks worked really well, but still kept Sarah Jane Adventures on its own merit. Again, the performances were great. I thought everyone did a fantastic job on here. It's just a fun thing to watch, and I think it's just something that is definitely missed in kids programs for me. Call me an old fart, you can. It's good to see that this show still holds up 14 years later and there are fans of the show. It certainly made me want to watch the rest of the Sarah Jane Adventures following this review and rewatch of Revenge of the Slitheen. So if you haven't watched it before or you haven't watched it in a while, I do recommend that you rewatch them again and check it out. They are available on DVD as well as BritBox. Let me know in the comments below your thoughts on Revenge of the Slitheen and what is your favourite story from the Sarah Jane Adventures. Next time on Timey Wimey Review, I'm going to do my first ever audio review from Big Finish in the form of the 8th Doctor story Terra Firma, and there's also a special video coming soon to the YouTube channel. Until then, thank you very much for watching. I hope you enjoyed this review. Please like the video, share the video and subscribe to the channel. And as Sarah Jane once said, time to go back to school.